Hello and welcome to another episode of Evening Crypto with your boy, the Real Shaw 256. And today we'll be talking about mainly the TA side of things, since there is a lack of news lately in the crypto sphere, but not a lack of price action with Bitcoin lately. Last 24 hours have been just amazing in as far as price action. Bitcoin testing and retesting resistance and actually breaking through today and going for previous highs, in my opinion. We'll take a look at the charts and see what they're telling us. We're currently trading at $334 billion entire market cap. 24-hour volume is at 82.6. And a very interesting ticker here, a very interesting, noteworthy stat here is the Bitcoin dominance chart keeps going up. We're currently at 63.1% dominance, which means that the alts are getting killed. And if you are one of those people who is waiting on an altcoin summer, then my message to you is you should probably reconsider at this point, because Bitcoin is taking all of the attention and all of the trading volume, all the money going back into Bitcoin, and we're seeing it reflected here in this stat here. This number just keeps going up and up, higher and higher. So if you are waiting on that altcoin summer, my suggestion is get back into Bitcoin. That's where all the price action is. That's where all the gains are happening. That's where people are trading. We see it here, $211 billion market cap of the 334. So, I mean, it goes to show how powerful Bitcoin is right now, how the momentum, the bullish sentiment that is going on around Bitcoin, and just people coming in and trading it instead of trading with altcoins or messing with altcoins. Sort of our message here at this channel is, you shouldn't really go and venture out with shitcoins too much outside of the top 15. Although we have been doing a lot of TA, following up on Chainlink quite a bit, because it has been doing something very different to the rest of the pack, the rest of the shitcoins. And we're also going to take a look at the usual Ethereum, XRP, Litecoin. Maybe we'll take a look at maybe an extra coin there. But Chainlink is definitely one of those that we've been paying attention because it's been doing so well. Full disclosure, I'm not in Link. That's not something I am showing out to you guys. I'm just very interested in what it's doing and the moves and the powerful backing that it has garnished, and we see it in the price action of Chainlink, one of the top coins in my opinion, as far as percentage gained in the market, and just keeps scaling upwards and upwards into the spot that it currently is. I do remember seeing Chainlink in, not even the top 25, not even the top 50, and all of a sudden, it's now here at 17. So definitely, we've got to give credit where credit is due. We'll also talk about some of the news. Actually, I said at the beginning of the video, there's been a lack of news lately, and I do mean that. There's been sort of a lack in just things happening. I do think, we've run out of good news so far at this point in the year, because if you remember, thinking back at the beginning of the year, there were a lot of news, a lot of events happening around the crypto sphere, positive things that led ultimately, not that it's directly 100% correlated to the end of the bear market and the beginning of the new bull market. I don't think those two things are necessarily correlated, but we do see a sort of a diminishing factor here with news and things happening around the crypto sphere, uh, that to the volume that we were having at the beginning of the year, maybe the first and part of the second quarter. We do see here tapering off. Not as much news or events happening aside from the IBF and the IMF jumping into the possibility of building their own cryptocurrency, although it hasn't been officially confirmed. It does sound like they're venturing into cryptocurrencies, and a lot. I mean, a lot of speculation already has begun, and a lot of people saying that it'll be no different than Libra coin or Chase coin, JP Diamond coin, or Goldman Sachs coin, whoever, whatever coin you want to point out to. Not seeing a lot of differences there. In my opinion, not really a cryptocurrency, since it is backed by fiat currencies, and we know that cryptocurrencies traditionally are not backed by any sort of, whether it's gold, any medium of exchange, any currency or anything like that. It is just backed by the community and the two people in the transaction. That's really what it gives its value. Aside from the technical aspects and technical characteristics of a coin, whether it's privacy, speed, throughput, interoperability, those things, which would also give it value. So yeah, so hopefully, you are heeding the advice of not only me, but I know a lot of people are actually saying the same thing. A lot of traders are pretty much, I'm echoing their message as well, because I do think it is true. I do think that Bitcoin is garnishing a lot of the momentum right now, and is just, being a price hog right now, just dominating the charts, right? So let's get into the TA side of things. We'll start off with the usual with Bitcoin. And in fact, the first thing I want to show you within that is that we did gosh, here, I hope I'm not doing this wrong here. No, that's not the chart I'm looking for. Anyway, we did see a gap in the charts, and we do think that Bitcoin's ultimately going to fill the gap at 8,500 right here, right? And that's what we were talking about earlier in the week, that there is this gap, and given the this price action where we were actually dropping and dropping and having a correction, a pretty nice sizable correction. In fact, if we put a measure on this, we'll find that it actually had a pretty significant drop off, right? About a 28, 29%, 30%, depending on if you use this wick here. It'll be a little bit over 30% correction, which is pretty healthy. Although this is a wick, if you want to count that, then it'll be a 30% correction. And we did close this gap around here in the 10,000 or lower $10,000 range. We did close the gap here. We did go back and fill it, and there was plenty of momentum on the downside, and we definitely thought that we were going to go back and fill the $8,500 gap here in Bitcoin futures. We did not. We actually bounced back from the middle $9,600, $9,500 range, and having a nice, definitely a nice bounce to the upside. Currently trading at, if we look at, actually I want to look at Binance. Currently trading at 11,669. But a lot of volatility right now with Bitcoin fluctuating between the 11,300, earlier today, and now we actually, I think, reached very, very close to the what is it called, the $12,000 mark earlier today. Some depending on the exchange that you're looking at, right? So definitely a lot of volatility, so there's plenty of opportunity, plenty of chances to make a little bit of money within those ranges. Another thing that I wanted to point out to you guys is the longs chart, and I also want to compare it to the Bitcoin tether chart, because I think there is something to be said here with the longs, also following in this run here. The bulls getting bullish, and the bears just kind of being overtaken by the bulls here, as we do see here this run. And then we did see the correction here coinciding with the drop off in longs. People stopped being long. The bears kind of took over at that point, having set a previous high or a local high, and then obviously expecting a correction from that high, in that parabolic run. There's usually a correction following that, and people know that. Savvy investors know that, and they stop getting long. And so we had a drop off in longs, and we had this price action. The bulls did not really catch much action here on the long side, but then we did see here that another continuation of the correction, and we now see that longs and the bulls are starting to now gather their legs and actually start getting long. And then taking a look at the opposite side of things, we did see a huge, massive drop off on shorts. So coinciding with this run up, this bounce from the 95 middle of 9,000s range, this major, major, major drop off. I mean, I cannot say that enough, because in order to actually see these levels of the diminishing amount of shorts here, we'd have to go back way back to February, middle of February of 2018, where people were feeling pretty bullish that we were going to get a bounce off of this area here in price from Bitcoin back in middle of February again. We did have a very nice bounce, correcting to the upside here. Let's call this bottom to top here, 66% in price action. So yeah, we have to go back to this sort of this sort of area here back in April 2018 to see these sort of very low levels of shorts on the futures charts, right? So just an indication of where we're at in the market right now. Not a lot of people um, feeling bear or feeling that the price of Bitcoin is going to go down. In fact, all the opposite. I do think that people are getting very much on the bullish bandwagon. Let me get a bit of a drink here, and then we can continue. So definitely something that's interesting and wanted to point out to you guys because this is a very significant drop off in the short. So definitely a signal to me that the sentiment has changed quite a bit since this correction here to the downside, and now people are starting to get bullish again. And we do see here that that is absolutely the case. We were, if we're looking at the daily candle here, we were trading in between the 21 and 30 simple here. If we can get to, let's get down to the lower time frames here so we can call the move here a little bit better. But it was trading right in here at these levels here. Let's see, I did not save those drawings from earlier, but let's draw it out again. We do see here this trend, this horizontal channel here of trading action where Bitcoin just was trading back and forth in between these levels. And for a lot of you that are new to trading and new to cryptocurrency and are maybe looking for some information or ways to trade or tips or whatever the case may be, if you're looking for some tips, this is sort of the trading 101, the TA 101 side of this channel where we can give you some easy ways, easy tips for you to start trading in these markets and start making a little bit of extra money, a little bit earning a little bit extra Bitcoin in a relatively safe manner and without exposing yourself too much. Not financial advice, but these are some easy tips that you can definitely take advantage of. And that is, I do see a lot of people saying, how come when I buy the price go down? Or how come when I sell the price goes up? It's because you're doing it backwards, right? You're actually selling the support once the price comes back down, and you're buying on the resistance thinking that this thing's going to go up. And you couldn't be further from being correct. You're actually on the very opposite side of that. You're doing it backwards basically. So what you need to do is switch your strategy. You need to buy when it dips or buy at the support levels here, right? That's what this is: support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance. And we do see it breaking through. Typically, you're going to see this pattern, right? You buy at the support, you establish a pattern, right? Whether it's a channel or a triangle or whatever the case may be, a wedge, whatever the case may be, you definitely want to look at the levels of support and establish those, paint them out on your chart, and then use those as your levels of support and buy at the support levels. Whether it's right around this point or you want to wait till it actually touches on the support line and then buy there, that's perfectly fine. And then you go into you see the price go up and you sell at the resistance point, right? This is a trend and it's telling you we're going to try once, twice, and then we tried a third time and we actually broke through this level of resistance here. And we did it with plenty of volume here, so it tells you that this was actually a significant run, and it was $563 worth of price action on just this candle alone, giving you about 5% earnings, right? If you caught it just at the bottom this candle alone. Not to mention if you bought here at the support down at the bottom, and you watch this run right all the way up to what is this? What do we have here? Why am I doing percentages? Not sure, but here we go. If you watch it go up to 11,993, then that's a pretty significant gains there. So watch for that. Very very easy. Again, buy support, sell resistance, buy support, sell resistance. You're going to see this maybe go three times, once, twice. The third time, usually there is a significant move, whether it's the upside. If it does get rejected, typically on the third, you will see that a lot of times it does break through this support channel, and it goes back down to retest some of the lower areas. We do have the 100 simple here coming in, and we also have the 200 EMA that both can act as support. So if you miss, if say Bitcoin were to have been rejected at this resistance line, then it's going to test this support area, and then the ultimately the 200. If it does break through that area, then we're typically the next area of major support would be the next coming the 377 here down, way down. But that would imply that we do see very low price action, and at that point, if we do break the 377, we can definitely say that we could be filling in the gap at 8,500 from CME futures contract. So that is still on the table. That is still in the roadmap. I do think that we're going to go back and refill the gap sometime in the future. These things do not have a set time. They don't have a parameter for when these things have to happen. They do happen though. So whether it's in the next weeks or in the next months or maybe next year or after the end of this bull market, but we are, I have very little doubt that we are going to go back and refill the gap at 8,500 at some point. So keep that in your radar. You may not have to pay too much attention to it, or may not have to worry too much about it right now, because we are seeing that Bitcoin is definitely riding up and getting more momentum to the upside. And I do think eventually, again, since we broke this trend line here, acting as resistance right at around 11,500 or 11,480, if you want to call it that, if you want to get really, really to the nitty gritty and very granular there. We did break through it with a lot of volume, with a lot of conviction, and we do see here the price of Bitcoin just going into almost a $12,000 range again. We are, I think, in my opinion, going to test it again. We might test it a third time and then go up above it. We'll have to wait, but I do think that, that now that we're above any major moving average and then above any simple moving average, and we did break through this resistance, this prior resistance here, I do think we have a lot of room to go upwards. But at the very moment, I do think that we're going to go back and retest this prior area of resistance here around 12,000. Actually, I do think this is going to be more of a significant area of resistance here, right around 12,400. I do think we can finish a move right in here between, I want to call it 12,250 and 12,500 is where I think we're going to see this run kind of top out, and then we'll have to reassess from there, see what other things are coming around at that point, at that time. And again, we'll reconsider from there and kind of figure out where we think Bitcoin is going. We'll also take a look at the shorts and the longs at that point and see what people are thinking over the overall sentiment, the psychology aspect of the market. Right, on the daily, we do see here that we have a cross to the downside and into a more neutral zone in the RSI. So that would tell me that we are headed down on the daily. I do think we're going to find a lot of support here. We do have the simple 200, as well as the what are we looking at here? We've got the 21, and we've got the 89, and then we have prior support here coming in here. But we first have to get through this 30 simple and the simple 200 right underneath where we're at right now at 11,600. This area is acting as support, and I do think we get a bounce here. We might see that this might be another we might establish another channel here that will act as resistance. I actually want to change the color to reflect that. We'll paint it red to sort of symbolize that these are areas of resistance up above, right? So we could be trading in this new channel now. Where I mean that's certainly possible. And again, watch for Bitcoin to try at least one more time before breaking through. And again, going and finishing up this move at around 12,500. Sorry, 12,000. Yeah, about 12,500. That's kind of where the top I think is. And again, if we have a lot of conviction on that run, a lot of buying volume, a lot of buying volume, a lot of buying pressure, then we can go back and retest the prior high. And if we do that, if we do that and end up topping out again at 14,000, we can definitely call it, maybe perhaps depending on what happens after that, we can call it a double top. And if it is a double top, usually those are bearish scenarios, and we do see typically a correction after a double top. So if you do see that coming into play, if you do see that forming and shaping out, just be aware of another move to the downside and correcting. Okay, so have that in your radar. All right, so taking a look at let's take a look at XRP. Um, why do we have that? Don't know. We don't want that. Uh, Not really sure what the heck. Oh, it's overlay. That's why. Okay. All right. Figured it out. Perfect. So XRP, it's been trading in this channel for a while. We do see here that it has tried to break through it once, twice, three times, and now it's started to break down. Like I was telling you earlier, these sort of moves do pan out. These sort of moves are pretty typical. And also, this formation here, this sort of um, rising channel, I would call it, not necessarily a wedge, but I do think this is typically, if you look at the textbook as far as formations go, I don't want to pay too much attention to that, although sometimes they do play out in cryptocurrency. I do think this is forming sort of a bear flag, and we could find resolution to the downside here. Also, not only that, but what the other sign I'm seeing is it is trading below every major and simple moving average currently at the moment. There is another bearish indicator in sight, and we also get a cross to the downside on the RSI, and it's looking very aggressive to the downside to me, in my opinion. This is looking at the 2 hour. Let's get a little higher on the time frames. The 4 hour is looking like it wants to get across into the neutral zone. Um, and go into deeper into these levels down here, which would imply the price of XRP falling down. It is going to test this. It's actually kind of sort of testing the support down here at around 39 cents. I do think it's going to test it again or come closer to that area. And then if it does break it, I do start to worry because there is nothing coming underneath it. The 377 is up here. That was sort of our last moving average that would act as support. Aside from this bottom support area here, I do think that it's going to find a way down here, or find support way down here. We'll actually use this, paint a line here of possible support around the 32 cents, and we're going to color code it in green to act and symbolize support there. So maybe a safe bet that if it does come back and does retest this area around the 32.9 to 33 cents, it is looking like a good place to enter back into XRP. All right, that's all we got for XRP. What happened there? BNB coin, BNB. So, see, I actually want to look at Litecoin first. Yeah, there we go. Although Litecoin was sort of the leader of the what was the starter, the beginning of this bull run and this transitioning out of a bear market, It has sort of, lost plenty of steam. I wouldn't say it's dead. I wouldn't say it's bearish, completely bearish. Although right now, at the current moment, looking at the 4 hour, does look like it's trading below a lot of the major and simple moving averages. It's looking like it wants to regain a more bullish posture. That's what it looks like, but not sure it's going to actually accomplish that. Again, with Bitcoin just taking all the attention, all the trading volume, all the money into Bitcoin, it'll be a lot tougher to get really bullish on Litecoin at the current moment. I do think that if we do not see a break to the upside above the 21 and the 80, actually this is the 100, or I'm sorry, the 200 EMA. If we don't start moving upwards here and start getting above these moving averages and start finding support around those areas that will maybe propel us to keep going upwards, then if we do start rejecting off of this 21 here, the first move would then be to retest the 377 at $111 like it did back here. Not being able to get above the 30 simple here. We see that here. This red line coming in here, not being able to get above it. We do see here, since we lost it, it has tried to not only once but two times, and we then regained it, and it looks like we're currently just above it, right? Just above it. But if we do lose that, I do think the 377 is going to be our next line of support coming around. Again, the 111 range. So be careful. I'm not too bullish. Not feeling too bullish unless we can see Litecoin gather some momentum and start trading above these simple and EMAs here. Um, Taking a look now at BNB, I do think it has a very similar posture. The Some of the things that were happening with BNB just kind of have fizzled out, and you can tell too on this price action. Although we can do a couple of things with BNB. We do see here a clear line of resistance that it has tried to I'll try to break through it twice already. So we could, and it needs to do this, right? It's going to need to do this if we want to see BNB coin get above and reach for maybe these prior highs. Um, not not a lot of volume. We have sort of a descending volume trend here, coming back from all the way down here. We do see here that we're losing a lot of momentum in trading volume. So I mean, it goes to show here as well. We see that this coincides with this, so there is confluence in those two factors there. I need to take another sip of water. Uh, so we do see a little bit of confluence there. Actually, significant confluence there. We do need to see like Litecoin get above the 21 and perhaps the simple 100 to start getting some momentum. It is going to find plenty of resistance right here, but it is going to be our third try. And if it does break through it with some volume, then we can potentially come back and retest this area here around $37 and ultimately retest the prior high at 39.60 or $40 if you want to round up there. So again, we're with the way things are doing. I do think we are going to continue in this trend going downwards and having this trend line act as resistance. And again, if we fail to break through it on the third chance, there's a bigger possibility that we retest the 377 at 30 cents or $30. I'm sorry, and then if we break this area, then there's nothing stopping it from maybe perhaps this area here around 29 cents and ultimately 26 cents, almost 27 cents. All right, so watch out for that. Definitely be careful if you're trading BNB. Not the best, not the most bullish chart to look at right now. Let's see. We do want to take a quick look at Link. We are looking at the 4 hours still. I mean, it's consolidating. It's still in a bullish posture. We're right below the 21. it kind of sort of looks like it wants to test the 55, but not that, but it's staying way above it. So, it could bounce up from here. Certainly, if we regain the 21, then we could go back and actually regain a lot of bullish momentum and retest this area here about 3.87. And actually, if we break that area with some volume, we can definitely go back and retest the prior high at around $4.59. But Chainlink, I mean, definitely bullish. Um, Not only from what the chart is saying, but just looking at this recent price action, the community, it has gathered a lot of attention, a lot of momentum, a lot of hype behind the project. We do see it here also with the market cap, currently at number 17. But I did see it here in, I think it was last week. I did see here take spot number 14 for a little bit, maybe a couple of days, and then now has kind of tapered off a little bit, lost a little bit of steam. But I do think it is consolidating right now in this area. It is sort of flagging out here, doing sort of a triangle or a wedge, more of a triangle to me. It looks like um, we do see here this acting as resistance and this bottom line acting as support. And we are pretty full on this move here, on this pattern here on the 4 hour. So I do think we're going to get a move pretty soon here, because again, this formation is almost filled up, right? So it might be time for a move, whether it's maybe breaking down, or if it doesn't break above this line of resistance here. It does look like it has tried at least once to break it. Maybe not a second time. But again, we're getting pretty filled in this formation. So I do think if it fails here, then we could see it breaking down below this line of support. But we do have the 55 coming up immediately right after that, at the $3.12. I would kind of like to see that, honestly, in on my side of things, because I have been telling you guys that I want to enter back into, or not back, but actually enter my first trade into Chainlink. I don't own any Chainlink. I'm not trying to show it to you, but I'm just telling you my opinion and what I've seen in the in the charts, and also what I'm hearing from the crypto community. A lot of people are rallying behind this project, and I do think at one point we are going to see Chainlink in the top 10 in the near future. I think before the end of the year, we might see Chainlink. And I did make a call to say that, 6 months into this, or 7 months now into this 2019, I do think is going to be, it's going to make a case. And I do think we're sort of making a prediction that Chainlink is going to be the altcoin of 2019, based on what we're seeing here so far. So I wouldn't get necessarily bearish on it. Although again, I do want to see some lower price action, because I do want to have a better entry point than what it's showing us right now. So depending on what happens here, if it does break through this line of resistance here, it could again go back and retest the $4.10 and ultimately $4.60. And if it does break through, this also could be a good point for you to enter. I know that if it does break through with some volume, I think I will enter into Chainlink finally, and watch it ride up and see if it does retest this area here. And if it does, then you can expect to have at least a rejection the first time around, maybe break through it on a second or third time around. Okay, so that's kind of what I got for Chainlink. See anything else I wanted to point out to you guys that I think I already went through the shorts and longs. Um, yeah, so I think that's all I got for the TA side of things. I do want to end the video with a little bit of news, whatever news is going on. The one thing that we did see happen today with Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram kind of having some struggles and going offline for a while. You weren't able to send some video footage or video messages or pictures, as the article here explains. A few hours ago, the internet's top social networks suffered a crash that kept users from sharing photos, videos, and similar files. Almost simultaneously, Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram suffered the same malfunction, causing, as expected, a big nuisance. Gosh, hate it. Amongst netizens, as in citizens of the net or the interwebs, who rushed to petition to tag Instagram down and Facebook down and all that good stuff. And although many took opportunity to joke about the superiority of Twitter, the only fully operational platform at that point, this joy was somewhat brief because Twitter did go down eventually and had the same sort of problems. Now, some technical individuals, people who are more in the know about these things, say that it is the recent reconfiguring of the code in the social platforms by Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg. I think he began at the beginning of the year. He began a new project to where he was recoding and redoing all the code for its platforms, social media platforms, and they're attributing the recent mishap to that fact that they're messing with the code. The code isn't perfect, and we see it here with these issues on their platforms. So with Facebook being very data heavy and having to accommodate the code to support something like that, we do see here that these like this guy Matthew Green saying that usually when these things happen that you're tinkering between um, security and convenience with this sort of thing. So something to definitely keep an eye on. Hopefully, they've got the issue figured out and everybody's information and data is safe. Although it does pose a very significant question for all of us in the crypto sphere, everybody who's into crypto. Is Libra worthy of users' trust because of this issue, right? What if you do decide to enter into the Libra coin and start transacting in such coin within the different channels in whether it's Bitcoin, Instagram, or WhatsApp, and you see this sort of thing happening where their channels are having interruptions in services, their network going down, blah blah blah. Is this a system or a network that we can rely and actually place our bets on with the recent past history. So, one thing to note here, in my opinion, this is something that I've been thinking about quite a bit. Initially, the Libra coin will live in the social network platforms by Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. But eventually, I do think it does migrate, and it's also said in the ambiguously said in the white paper of the Libra coin, where the long time horizon goal is to actually have a transition from a centralized Libra coin to a more decentralized network. Um, Not sure how serious they are about that, especially with looking at this chart here. Excuse me, and looking at this chart here, looking at how many players from the traditional business space are involved in, as validators in the network. Not sure how much they are going to allow that to happen, although Mark Zuckerberg and his team of cryptocurrency or blockchain initiative do point to the future of LibreCoin being a decentralized platform as well, such as Bitcoin in a sense. But again, not really cryptocurrency since it is backed by regular fiat currencies. Not traditionally what a purist and a romantic of blockchain and cryptocurrency technology um, um, we kind of look at the standard and we definitely say that if it is backed by fiat currency, then it's definitely not a cryptocurrency. It's sort of in the same lines as Goldman Sachs coin or J.P. Morgan Chase coin or whatever the case may be, Libra coin. And the other thing is, in the event that they do decide to have an open mind towards decentralization. I do think initially the only way that you'll be able to transact in Libra will be through the Calibra wallet. Um, but initially, that's initially right. And in time, I do think that third-party app developers are going to come up with a wallet that will support the Libra coin outside of the network, right? So if I do ever decide to go and use Libra coin, I think I will have to feel better about using it outside of the Facebook network and actually using it in a third party independent wallet where my money or my Libra coin is taken out of the main centralized network with a central point of failure and onto a more decentralized network, right? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you guys are thinking. If you think this is a waste of time, definitely leave it in the comments. Let me know what I should be or you'd like me to cover. If you want me to do technical analysis on your favorite coin, definitely leave it down below in the comments. If you think this content would be useful for someone that is maybe beginning into trading or beginning in the crypto sphere, definitely share it with them, your family, your friends. Let them know about this community we're trying to build here. And I do appreciate your time. Hopefully, you got something out of this, and it's been worth your time. Also, happy 4th of July for those in the United States. Tomorrow, by the time you see this video, it will be 4th of July. So have a happy and safe 4th of July. Bitcoin is popping like a firework, so it is definitely an appropriate title. So have a great night to you all, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks so much for joining.